Hadith 30, our last hadith. عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم ابن ناشر رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها. Allah has made things obligatory, so do not neglect them, do not abandon them. وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها. And Allah has set limits, so do not overstep and transgress those limits. وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها. And Allah has made things haram, so do not violate them. وسكت عن أشياء. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was silent. Allah was silent on some matters. He didn't teach us about them. رحمة لكم غير نسيان, as a mercy to you all. Not that He forgot about them. فلا تبحثوا عنها. So don't delve deep in that. Don't do heavy research on that. Don't ask too much questions about that. As the hadith that we took, that preceded, hadith حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره. In this hadith, خرجه البزار في مسنده والحاكم في حديث أبي الدرداء عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال a different narration of this hadith, because our hadith there was some maqal fil isnad, there was some conversation about its isnad. So the shaykh, he brings a different narration that supports our narration. ما أحل الله في كتابه فهو حلال. Whatever Allah made halal in His kitab, then it's halal. وما حرم فهو حرام. Whatever Allah made haram, then it is haram. وما سكت عنه فهو عفو. And whatever Allah was silent on, then this is afu. This is Allah pardoning us. فَقَبَلُوا مِنَ اللَّهِ عَافِيَتَهُ. So accept, فَقَبَلُوا, accept from Allah His afiyah. Allah made something easy on you, accept it. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمْ يَكُنْ لِيَنْسَى شَيْئًا. Allah, it's not for Allah to forget anything. Don't ask about something Allah didn't teach you about. It's not like you forgot about it. ثُمَّ تَلَى هَذَا الْآيَةِ وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. And your Lord is not one who forgets. وقال الحاكم صحيح الإسناد وقال البزار إسناده صحيح. This is a different narration that has supported our narration. And Allah, He said in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبد لكم تسؤكم وإن تسألوا عنها حين ينزل القرآن تبد لكم عفى الله عنها والله غفور حليم. O you who believe, do not ask about matters that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't clarify for you. If you're going to ask about them, when the Quran was being revealed, then He would have revealed it for you, but Allah pardoned it and He forgave it. That ayah is directly in line with that hadith. هذا والله أعلم. I think we went over time today.
We need to bring back the old timer.
We need to bring out the old timer. That's why my guy Amir, he used to give me the time. Today we went over. You're too easy on me. Do we have any questions about these ahadith? I know we're moving fast, so we couldn't explain them the way we like. Nah.
Could you re-explain what you're mentioning about Allah versus not
Naam, the ayah, Allah doesn't perform any dhulm whatsoever. Inna Allah la yadhimu mithqala dharra. Allah does not do dhulm the weight of an ant, or even less than that. Obviously, Allah doesn't do any dhulm. But one of the ayah said, forget the ayah, لَيْسَ رَبُّكَ بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ. Your Lord is not ظَلَّام. ظَلَّام is a sighat mubalagha. It's the exaggerative form of the word ظالم. Like it didn't just say, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَظْلِمُ, it said ظَلَّام. Allah doesn't do a lot of dhulm to the ibad. So we were just asking the question, why does the ayah say that? Because even a little bit of dhulm from Allah, because He's so strong and powerful, would be a lot of dhulm in comparison to us. So Allah doesn't do a lot of dhulm, because any dhulm from Him would be a lot of dhulm on us. So we're just explaining that ayah. But the real answer is that Allah doesn't do any dhulm at all. Okay.
Going back to the hadith where the hadith al-Qudsi, where the Prophet says if he could get every one of His creation, everything that He asked for, that it wouldn't reduce Him like less than a drop of a pin in the ocean.
Yeah.
Is that just meant to just be like a metaphorical example? Because Allah is infinitely ghani.
Allah is infinite. Naam. The real meaning, again, is that nothing at all decreases. Naam. That's a good question. There is a microscope of water that comes out with the needle, but we can't actually compare that to Allah because Allah is infinite. That's a very good question. Naam, Allah is infinite. And that example wasn't literal. It was just to help us fathom. Like everything that even the things that talk about Jannah. That's not really what you get. What you're going to get in Jannah is Ibn Abbas said in the tafsir of the ayah. Page 5. بشرهم جنات تجري من تحتها. How's the ayah start? بشر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أن لهم جنات تجري من تحت الأنهار كلما رزقوا منها من ثمرة رزقا قالوا هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل. هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل. The only thing يشبه the things in Jannah to this dunya is بالأسماء فقط. Just the names. It doesn't actually talk about what's in Jannah. So the hadith is the same. Talking about Allah, it's not the actual exact metaphor. Nah, good question.
I was under the impression that you can't lie even if it's a joke. Can you clarify that? Because
You cannot lie even if it's a joke. Nah.
so the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam thing about Imam Nawawi,
It wasn't a joke. He wasn't joking. This is just a statement that the Arab used to always use. ثَكِلَتْكَ أُمُّكَ. May your mother be bereaved of you. Or رَغِمَ أَنفُكَ. You say, may your nose be rubbed in dirt. يعني how we say غصب عنك. We say that, right? غصب عنك. Like, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? غصب. Huh? Now I know how we use it, but what does the word actually mean? غصب. Forced upon you? Yeah, do we actually mean that? Like, you're going to eat in my house غصب عنك. Am I actually going to grab you and force you in my house? It's just the way we talk. So it's not literal. The Prophet was a human being and he used to speak the way that the people would speak. Nah. Michael. I don't know who you were talking to. Nah.
We're not supposed to ask about the things that Allah has left, the gray areas.
No, not the gray areas. There's things that aren't found in the Quran and the Sunnah. If there's things found in the Quran and the Sunnah, you're trying to ask about your salah, how to make wudu, how to make ghusl, what's haram, what's halal, what can I eat, things that are important, then ask, of course, ask Ahlul Dhikr. But if something Allah did not clarify, it did not come in the deen, you don't need to go into that much depth, then leave it how Allah left it.
So like some of the scholars that they would answer like hypothetical questions that just
What scholar answers hypothetical questions that you know? The scholars hate hypothetical questions. They get very angry when you ask them hypothetical questions. If it doesn't benefit you, the alim won't answer your question. A lot of times you ask them a hypothetical question. If you're never going to fall into that question, they refuse to answer you. You shouldn't get into hypotheticals. What's the point of that? The reason why we ask all the Sahaba in the hadith, you've seen, how can I get into Jannah and be safe from the hellfire? Teach me a statement that I don't have to ask anyone after you that teaches me what Islam is. Tell me what birr is and what ithm is. These are all very beneficial questions. Not what happens in the case that I own 10 cows and 100 sheep. How do I pay zakah on it? And you don't even own a farm. Like, if you learn in fiqh, that's one thing, but it's another thing to dive too deep in those matters. No.
Do you do sadaqah or zakat on someone that's not Muslim?
أدري, I don't know. I think so. Allah alam. I don't know. كيف صدقة the Muslims, يا أخي? The Muslims, they need it.
That's not my question, I'm just asking.
Are we done now?
Hadith 28, Sana al-Ta'a, that applied to? Like, are we applying it to, for example, like Hukam al-Arab, for example?
Even Hukam al-Arab, if they're placed in leadership over you, you listen and you obey.
No matter what.
No matter what. وإن ضرب ظهرك وأخذ مالك. If he hits you in your back and if he takes your wealth. What you don't obey them in is ma'siyatillah. If they command you to do a ma'siyah, you don't obey them, just like your parents. If your father tells you don't pray, you're not going to obey him. You're going to be dutiful to him, you're going to be nice to him and kind to him and smile to him and lower your wing of humility. You're not going to obey him when he tells you don't pray. The only time you ever that khuruj would ever even be permissible, the first shart is that the person's a kafir. And do we know that any of the hukam al-Arab are kuffar? Without a doubt. Do we know shurut, the shurut of making somebody a kafir or no? What is the shart of making somebody a kafir? You guys don't know the 10 nawaqid al-Islam? That needs to be the next class. Nawaqid al-Islam, no, it's one of the shurut. Is that they've done nawaqid al-Islam. أعان الكفار على المسلمين. صح? Do they do that? They don't do that. وحتى لو أعان الكفار على المسلمين. What you find in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ is that why did they أعان الكفار على المسلمين? If they did it thinking that kufr was better than iman, then that's kufr. That's disbelief. That person's a kafir. If, still he's not a kafir. If we advise him and we show it to him and we give him time to repent. You see Ahl Sunnah, people make them seem like they're the extreme ones. صح? Oh, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, he killed Muslims. But you find Ahl Sunnah really, they're the most lenient with this stuff. That the person has to commit kufr. It has to really be kufr. Not just, oh, he aided the kafir on the Muslims, so he's a kafir. There's a sahabi in a sahih hadith who aided the kuffar over the Muslims. But he did it for the sake of worldly gain, and he wasn't a kafir, they didn't kill him, they didn't hang him. صح? But the person who does that thinking that the kufr is better, then that's kufr. And even that person who does an act of kufr, a leader, then you bayyin lahu, you teach him and you clarify the matter. And he needs time to repent. Do you know that all that happened? Number one, do you even know that they did kufr? Or is he just a fasiq, a zalim? Okay, he's a fasiq and a zalim. Even a fasiq and zalim, me and you can't say this person's a fasiq, this person's a zalim. That's a fatwa. You given a fatwa. Allah's going to ask you on al-qiyamah, ta'al. You call this person a fasiq, a zalim, a kafir, you're going to be judged in front of Allah. Was he really a fasiq, kafir, zalim? Or was he being forced? Or was there any other reason? Allahu a'lam. We don't give them excuses, but at the same time, don't speak out of your lane. As we took, Man kana minkum yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyaqul khayran aw liyasmut. If you're not the person for that, then don't speak. Khalas, stay silent. Listen and obey. It's better to keep the peace in your country and worship Allah. Yeah, look at Saudi. Yes, they bring in Nicki Minaj and whoever, and they're doing a lot of ma'asi, but you can worship Allah in Saudi. Yes or no? We don't praise what they do, we don't praise their leadership, but you can worship Allah. You can read Quran, you can teach Sunnah, you could compare that to the Muslim countries where they tried to overthrow their government. And what is their condition? Can they worship Allah? Is it easy to worship Allah? Or are they poor? Or do you have to pay 1 million of their currency for a loaf of bread? So it's the reason why the Prophet forbade these things is for the betterment of the whole society. If there's an easy way to overthrow, this person is a kafir. 100%. The ulama, they came out, they said, هذا كافر. يجب الخروج عليه. We have to overthrow him. And there's a way to overthrow without bloodshed, without a lot of bloodshed, and it's a smooth, swift. Then in that case, maybe the ulama, they give that fatwa. But right now we don't have that. The ulama didn't go out and speak against it. And don't ever assume that the ulama are being silent. And don't ever assume that our ulama, that something needs to be done and they're just scared and they're being silent. These ulama, they sacrifice their life. They sacrifice their women and their children for the sake of this deen. Don't ever assume they love Allah more than you love Allah. They sacrifice for this deen more than you're ever willing to. They wouldn't be silent on matters. And they do speak out against these matters. But the fact that they're being silent shows that these are times where you should be silent. That's what it means. And you speaking out is not doing any good. We have millions and millions of protests. What do we benefit? Everybody knows the Yahud, what they're doing. What difference did it make? We're trying to run around and find a different answer. Allah said in the Quran, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لِيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. So why are we trying to find a different answer? Oh, we need the protest, we need to throw our shoe at Trump or Bush, or that's going to free Palestine. Nah. You need to worship Allah. Come back on Tawheed, unite as Muslims, and that's what's going to bring victory in your land. Not khuruj al-hakim, not any of this stuff. That's the only way, there's no other way. The help comes from Allah. Allah can guide that hakim. Sah wa la? Can he guide him or no? Allah can guide or he can't guide. Make dua, Allah guides him. And then khalas, the problem is solved overnight. As opposed to this regime of trying to overthrow and rebellion and cause a civil war. And millions and trillions of people die. No good comes out of that. That's a very sensitive topic, and you need an entire lecture about that for somebody who's more qualified, who can speak on that matter. All right. Good question though. We done with the hadith. Allah? Yes. What are you pointing at? What's that?
I'm not sure if you went over this, and forgive me if I'm misquoting it, but I believe in this sporting hadith there is a man who's like on the day of judgment, and he says, Ya Allah, I memorized for your sake.
That's not in the 40, that. No. What's your question about the hadith?
The question is, how can we purify our intentions to do it for the right reason?
So you weren't here on the إنما الأعمال بالنيات hadith. You were late? No, that was the first class. We got it recorded for you. Are we done? Allah, subhanakallah wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.